Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're going to tackle a pretty big misconception about wealth. That stereotype of what a millionaire really looks like. Forget the Ferraris and mansions for a second. Our mission today is to really dig into some fascinating research, decades of it, actually, from that classic study behind the book, The Millionaire Next Door. Bro, we want to unpack the surprising truths, the practical habits that come out when you look at how real wealth actually gets built in America. And here's a little spoiler. Most wealthy people, they don't live like you see in the movies. It's quieter, more about discipline.
That's exactly right. The Millionaire Next Door is, well, it's almost required reading if you're into personal finance. But even if you've read it, revisiting these points really hammers home the main message. And the core idea is, honestly, pretty simple, but also quite profound. It says wealth, for most people anyway, isn't usually about some huge inheritance or just dumb luck. The research consistently shows it's more about, hard work, real discipline, and being genuinely frugal. It's not just about having a high income.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The book just throws this big misconception out the window right away, doesn't it? What's the biggest surprise, like right off the bat for most people?
I think the biggest shock is realizing how much we link wealth with spending. We see the expensive stuff, the cars, the clothes, the huge houses, and we just assume, okay, that's rich. But this research, it flips that completely. It shows lots of high-income earners are actually, well, broke or close to it because they spend everything to keep up appearances. Meanwhile, the actual millionaires, many live pretty modestly. Their goal isn't showing off, it's financial independence, real security.
That's so counterintuitive, isn't it, given everything we see?
It really is. We're just sort of conditioned to see wealth as this big, flashy thing.
Which is why this next part is so helpful, I think. It gives us actual categories, ways to think about it. The authors talk about two types of people, right? Can you walk us through those?
Absolutely. Yeah, they use these acronyms, PAW and UAW. A PAW is a prodigious accumulator of wealth. Basically, these are the folks who consistently live well below their means. They save, they invest pretty aggressively, and their net worth. It's way higher than you'd guess just based on their income or age.
Okay, so pause the goal. What about the L on UAW?
Right. UAW is the underaccumulator of wealth. These individuals tend to spend a lot, often to, maintain a certain image or status. They save very little, sometimes nothing. And so their net worth is much, much lower than it could be, especially considering their income. They're sort of lagging behind.
Okay, CAW versus UAW. Got it.
And they even give you a tool, a way to sort of gauge this for yourself, the wealth benchmark formula.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
It's pretty simple, actually. You take your age, multiply it by your pre-tax annual income. Then just divide that number by 10.
Age times pre-tax income divided by 10. Okay.
Exactly. Now, if your actual net worth is double that number or more, you're likely leaning towards being a PAW. But if your net worth is less than half that benchmark number, well, you're probably acting more like a UAW. It's a stark comparison.
Wow, that's a really clear, practical way to see it. Puts things in perspective. So, okay, that benchmark gives us a picture. But how do people become PAWs? What are the actual habits? The book lays out 7 key traits, right? Let's dive into those.
Yes, 7 core traits. And they're not really secrets, just consistent behaviors. Number 1, and this is huge, they live well below their means.
We touched on that, but what does it look like?
It means driving modest cars, often used ones. Think, Toyota, Honda, maybe a Ford. Reliable, not flashy. It's a conscious choice. That money goes to investments, not a fancy car that loses value fast.
Right.
They buy homes they can definitely afford easily. And they're really good at avoiding what's called lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle creep, meaning your spending just goes up as your income does.
Exactly. You get a raise, you spend more, it negates the savings potential.
Yeah.
PAWs actively fight that.
Okay. Trait 1. Live below your means. What's next?
Number 2, they allocate time, energy, and money efficiently. Basically, they treat their finances seriously, like a part-time job almost. They spend more time planning their investments and budget than they do, say, shopping online.
So it's deliberate, planned.
Very much so. It's an ongoing focus.
Got it. Number 3.
3, they value financial independence over social status. This is key. They genuinely don't care about impressing the neighbors or colleagues with stuff. Their focus is internal, building security, building freedom, not showing off.
That takes a certain kind of mindset, doesn't it, to tune out the pressure?
It does. It requires prioritizing what really matters to them long term.
Okay. Number 4.
4, they avoid relying on parents for money. This one's interesting. The study found that big gifts or ongoing financial help from parents, they might call it economic outpatient care, often actually hinders kids from developing their own good financial habits.
Really? That seems counterintuitive, too. You'd think help is always good.
You would. But the research suggests that learning financial self-reliance early on is more valuable for building wealth yourself. These millionaires prioritize that.
Huh. Never thought of it quite like that. Okay, what's number 5?
5 flows from that. They raise self-sufficient children. They teach their kids about money, about work ethic. They deliberately avoid spoiling them with luxury. The goal is for the kids to stand on their own 2 feet financially.
Makes sense. Passing on the values. Number 6.
6. They work in the right occupations. Now, right here doesn't necessarily mean glamorous.
Right, not CEO of a tech giant necessarily.
Not always, no. Many in a study were small business owners, or professionals in fields that aren't flashy but are necessary. Think accountants, engineers, maybe skilled contractors.
Yeah.
The key is often having some control over their income and expenses and providing steady value.
Okay, steady, controllable income streams. And finally, number 7.
Number 7, they choose the right spouse.
Ah, the partnership aspect.
Crucial. Having a partner who shares your financial values, who's on board with saving and spending discipline, it's huge.
Yeah.
It prevents so much conflict and helps you reach goals together faster.
It really underlines that it's not just about individual actions, but the whole household approach.
Absolutely. It's a team effort.
Wow. Okay, those 7 traits, I mean, just listing them out, you can already see how many common ideas about wealth just fall apart. What are some of the biggest myths this research just blows up?
Oh, quite a few.
Yeah.
Like we said, the myth that millionaires drive fancy luxury cars.
Right, mostly Toyotas and Fords.
Exactly. Or the myth that they all live in super exclusive, ritzy neighborhoods.
Nope, often just regular middle-class areas.
And maybe the biggest one, that they all inherited their money.
Yeah, you said over 80% are first-generation wealthy.
That's right. They built it themselves through these habits. And the myth about glamorous jobs, again, often steady, maybe unglamorous, but solid businesses or professions.
So when you pull all this together, the debunked myths and the 7 habits, what are the really core lessons we should take away?
Well, first and foremost, income does not equal wealth. You can earn a ton. If you spend it all, you're not building wealth. You're just running faster on the treadmill.
High income just means higher potential, maybe.
Precisely. Potential that needs discipline to be realized. Second, frugality is a core value. It's not about being cheap. It's about valuing your money, thinking long-term, focusing on return, not just price tags.
Thinking like an investor, even with everyday spending.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Third, wealth building is slow. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Most of these people took decades of consistent saving and investing. No get-rich-quick stuff here.
Patience is key.
Definitely. Fourth, avoid that big hat, no cattle lifestyle. You know, the person who looks incredibly wealthy but has very little actual substance, little net worth behind the facade.
All show, no go.
Pretty much. The book really emphasizes substance over appearances, and maybe the ultimate point, tying it all together. Freedom is the real goal.
Not the stuff, but the freedom the money provides.
Exactly. The freedom to choose how you spend your time, the security, the lack of financial stress. That's the real prize they were working towards, more than any specific luxury item.
So wrapping this up, the core message seems incredibly clear. Building real wealth, becoming a millionaire, it's usually not about luck or inheritance or some crazy high salary. It really boils down to consistent discipline, smart spending choices, and putting genuine financial independence ahead of just looking rich. It's almost like a quiet rebellion against that whole keeping up with the Joneses culture.
That's a great way to put it, a quiet rebellion. And for you listening, the takeaways are timeless and actionable. Spend less than you earn, period. Fight lifestyle inflation like crazy. Invest regularly, invest patiently. Let compounding do its magic over time. And if you have a family, teach these principles. Pass on that financial discipline. It's one of the best legacies you can leave.
A powerful set of lessons grounded in decades of research. It really makes you think differently. So here's something for you to consider. How might your definition of rich change after today's deep dive? And what's one small, quiet step you could take toward that new vision?